playbook that we've been kind of running with over the last few years, is that we talk about differentiation of our messaging, doing demand gen or branding. There's two types. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. You've got demand gen and lead gen, which sometimes get confused. Demand gen, when I'm talking about demand gen, it's about creating the demand for your product or services by putting out messaging that will and sharing insights in and around your industry or your target or your ICP and the sort. So that's been that's the playbook. That's part of the playbook. The second is you want to put together the strategy. I'll talk about the error in a minute, and invest in remarkable content. None of these things are anything grand or new. What I want to talk about today is the missing piece, the thing that we need to do differently from today. I mean, if you could start yesterday, I would recommend that. But if you haven't started yesterday, we should start today, or and get started on it. And that is what I'm going to call audience insight research. And when I say I call it, it's my strategy team has called it that. And something we've been working on over the last year or so, and been seeing some really incredible results. Okay, hopefully there are a lot of people who like diagrams, because here it comes. This is the process that we follow with our customers, and we've been actually we've tested it on ourselves, and we've been working with it on customers over the last 12 to 18 months, and it really is. There's two parts to it. The first part is doing the actual research into what we're going to write content about, and then writing content. And I'm sure all of you are going to say we do that. There's nothing new that I'm mentioning here. But what I'm saying is most companies that they do when they try to figure out what their customers' problems are, they're not starting at the very beginning. Let me talk what I mean. What do I mean by that? You'll create an ICP, an ISP. You know who your ICP is. Let's say you're HubSpot and your ICP is the head of RevOps. When they wanted to decide to move the needle with their CRM, it wasn't enough to target what they called Marketing Mary, head of marketing, VP marketing. You needed to start targeting people who were dealing with sales ops, with revenue operations. And in order to write content and to understand those people in depth, you really couldn't just start over here. And what happens a lot of times is when you start right away writing content, you create the content, you see what works, and then you correct it. You're missing a lot of times the whole categories. What I'm recommending, what we're putting forward and we're doing differently, it seems slight, but it's actually pretty dramatic, is looking, especially in times when when times like we've been seeing over the last 6 months, that the economy is starting to get a little bit smaller. We need to start looking at new areas or new markets, new categories. And so what we're going to do is we're going to reach out to new ICPs, make hypothesis, discover these people, and interview them in as non-sales a way as possible. And this can be done by, I'll talk a little bit about how this can be done. And once you've interviewed them and tried to really understand their worldview and understand what are the real problems they're having in their jobs and how it can relate to your industry, to your products, after you've done that, because you diverge, you got a lot of big list of issues, you start defining what are the areas that you're going to focus on, and then you come up with a list of content. You've got the list of content, you start creating it and start seeing what works. And that's where, the attribution software comes back into play. How much traffic are we getting to the pieces? What types, who's coming and visiting these pieces of content? Is the right types of people? And once you've been testing it and executing on that, you can deliver more and more focused. And if you've done this correctly, and it takes a little bit longer, it requires a little bit more patience, but you will slowly over a number of months create new new products, new categories or new areas that you can market into, and then you can start doing lead generation, which is actually collecting on that demand that you've created. So the way that I mentioned before, here we're doing a lot of qualitative research, figuring out what needs to do, creating the content, doing the quantitative, seeing what works, delivering the message, and then collecting and then collecting big. So there's some big investment up front, but there's a huge upside on the tail end of that. I'm telling you that from experience. We've run this with numerous companies over the last 12 to 18 months. I'm not talking about the one or two, I'm talking about numerous, which would be like 10 or 15 companies that have seen growth when a lot of companies in their competition have seen real stagnation, especially over the last 6 to 8 months. So I apologize, I have to run through this really quickly. It's only giving you a quick bite size because I want to make sure that I'm giving the overview, and I'm happy to take questions after this. Oh, quickly, a few tips on how to do this in a non-sales way. One is think scale when you do this type of research and content. Like by starting a podcast, it's an easy way to not only interview people, get people interested to talk to you, and then of course it becomes a piece of content. You can of course record it, you can videotape it, showing my age, and write blogs about it. You can do an ongoing webinar series. You can do interview blogs, create peer books, or just reach out, ask for help. Someone just did that to me today on LinkedIn. They just sent an email, said a note saying, "Hey, I'm building a new product, a new feature. I love your feedback." All these are tried and tested. That's why I'm recommending them. And I just, as a key takeaway, in my opinion, this is where it's going. So in the name of, as I mentioned, I grew up in Canada. And one of my heroes was, of course, Wayne Gretzky. And his quote, or his claim to fame, if any of you remember, is I skate to where the puck is and not to where it has been. So if you're doing marketing the way you did it 2-3 years ago, it's time to up the game.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, Perry, I appreciate it. We are running a little late and right on time, so I know that it's at 2. There's kind of a wrap-up thing on the main stage.
Sure.
I highly recommend connecting with Perry, and super valuable insights that resonate with me. I think that there's a lot of things that have been done, but sometimes you got to sift through the noise and do your due diligence up front to really find a strategy that is going to yield results in the back end, and not just recreating what everyone else has already done. So, Perry, we appreciate it, and we will see everyone on the main stage.
Thank you. See you later, Adam.